Before I buy any Bitcoin, I run through the same checklist every single time. And look, this has nothing to do with price predictions. It has nothing to do with the charts, and it definitely has nothing to do with trying to time the top or the bottom. This checklist exists for one reason, and one reason only: to stop me from making mistakes that can permanently cost me Bitcoin. Because here's the truth: most people don't lose with Bitcoin because the price goes down. They lose because they buy without a process. And that's what I want to walk you through today. For context, I'm Harvinder Bhogal. I work with professionals who want to buy and hold Bitcoin properly for the long term, without hype or shortcuts. Most of my work is focused on helping people avoid the process mistakes that quietly cost them Bitcoin over time, regardless of what price does. If you're watching this, I'm going to assume something. You're not here to gamble. You're not here for quick wins. You're here because you're a professional and you value clarity and you want to own Bitcoin in a way that actually makes sense over the long term. That's exactly how I approach it with clients. Slow, deliberate, and risk aware. So what I'm sharing here isn't theory. It's the actual checklist I personally use before buying Bitcoin. Not to maximize upside, but to minimize downside and regret. Let's start with the most important one. If you can't clearly explain why you're buying Bitcoin, you probably shouldn't be buying any. Most people, they don't even skip this step. They don't even think about this step. They buy because the price is moving or because someone convinced them it's going to go higher. And the problem is simple. When price drops, that reason disappears. So here's the test that I use. Can you explain in one calm sentence why you own Bitcoin without mentioning the price? For me, Bitcoin is long-term insurance against monetary debasement. That reason doesn't change when the chart does. If your reason only works when Bitcoin is going up, that's not conviction, that's momentum. And momentum is fragile. This matters because weak conviction always shows up later, usually at the worst possible time. This one catches out a lot of people. Buying Bitcoin before you understand custody is backwards. Most people buy first and then they worry about wallets and everything else later, often when something's probably gone wrong. So the reality is this: Bitcoin changes the rules of ownership. If you don't control the private keys, you're relying on someone else to control them for you. And really, they're holding your Bitcoin on your behalf. And that's not a technical point, that's a risk decision. Before I buy, I already know where my Bitcoin's going to go. I already understand at a high level how self-custody actually works. And I'm comfortable with that responsibility. Like I said before, you do need to be intentional. This matters because the biggest Bitcoin losses in history were not price crashes. They were custody failures. This one is uncomfortable, but it's essential. If a 30% drop would make you panic, you're buying too much. Bitcoin is volatile. That's not a flaw, that's the trade-off. The mistake most people make is their position size. They buy an amount that feels good when the price is rising, but it becomes unbearable when it starts to fall. So before I buy, I stress test it mentally. If this price dropped hard tomorrow, would I still be able to sleep okay? If the answer is no, then I reduce the size. This matters because forced selling destroys long-term outcomes, and no amount of conviction survives if your position size is too large for your nervous system. Here's something people don't like to hear. Time in Bitcoin matters more than timing Bitcoin. I've seen people buy at what looked like a really good price, but then there was a price crash, and so they sold. So what they're doing is they're buying high and selling low, losing money. Not good. But then I've seen people buy at the top, but they just held, and then eventually it turned back around and they were in profit. But they had to wait years, and that's where people fail. They don't have the patience to wait. Now this is the final one. Bitcoin risk is misunderstood by almost everyone. People lump everything together: price volatility, regulation, technology, scary headlines. I like to separate them. There's protocol risk, there's custody risk, there's regulatory noise, and there's price volatility. Some of these you can control, some of them you can't. So I focus my energy on the ones that I can control. Good custody, sensible position sizing, long-term thinking, and I ignore prediction-based fear. This matters because clarity creates calm, and calm leads to better decisions. So that's the checklist. It won't help you buy Bitcoin at the bottom. It won't make exciting stories, but it will protect you from the mistakes that quietly wipe out a lot of people. Bitcoin doesn't reward the clever. It rewards the disciplined. If you stay solvent, calm, and patient long enough, the rest tends to take care of itself. If you want to learn the exact process that I use and the ones I teach my one-on-one clients on how to buy Bitcoin, I've created a free video. I run through all the platforms I use, all the software, and I go through into detail how to do it step by step. So it's a good video to watch if you've never invested in Bitcoin before. It teaches you how to do it safely. The link's in the description. If you like these kind of videos, subscribe, share, comment down below if there's any other Bitcoin related topics you want me to make a video about, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.